Welcome back for another Majorem Paradigm lecture. Fiery one last time, fiery. But to clarify, I'm not about to go over there, okay? Start knocking some heads around. But I would support U.S. draft. I'm not trained to go over there and settle things in the ways that the military might want me to be. But I mean, that's just how it goes. Sometimes you know, when there is clearly more peaceful alternatives and leadership disregards that, it's tough. So yeah, I trust the U.S. because the U.S. has given me a lot. Everything I have, can't complain at all. Can't complain at all. Not at all. I just, I'm doing my best to try and give back. Another thing that was on my mind is who would benefit from this the most? Majorem Paradigm. I also got I was at Pride. I marched at Pride with my vegan friends. Project Animal Freedom, shout out. Trans people, I think would really be interested in the Majorem Paradigm cause, because right now there's less stigmatism around drugs that maximize your output, because and this is a broad statement. I don't know, this is more of like an underlying thing, and I'm not saying people in the military are all on steroids or anything. But it's cool, and it will. I mean, I don't want to diss anyone here, but if being big in order to show your in order to make people afraid of you was less necessary, still cool, still awesome, something to behold. And it's not just about being hard on each other. You got to be hard on work, on physical labor. It's good for you. It helps you stay focused and not have to worry about injury. You can pad your bones and your joints. And you just have more leverage over the physical world. So, like I said, I'm not dissing anyone. However, it is nice to be big. You know, am I wrong? You can hold more fluid, more, you know, you can sustain yourself better to an extent. You know, you can't have like 450 pounds of muscle on like my frame, and you know, probably wouldn't be running many marathons with that build. But I think this is good for the trans community, because there's less stigmatism around the less you know, disincentives, and more of the incentives and so on, because women, you know, when we get into the relations game, right, it's the same board, it's the same pieces, but why is it so interesting? It's so interesting because although it's the same board and the same pieces, it's an avenue to express yourself, right? If you're the one giving, you have to think, how can I be as dominant as possible, hear me out here, without coming across, without hurting the other person, okay? I'll just say that, without hurting the other person. Now here's the thing. Everyone's got different tastes, right? Mine are vanilla, okay? Because it's not about how much, you know, supplementary, you know, it's all supplementary, you know. It's not, you know, am I making sense here? First of all, you don't need the relations game at all. It's supplementary. But there are things to be learned from it. Because it's not the overarching goal of life, it's good to have it be more of a mental game than a physical game. I don't even know if this is making sense, but this is all basic stuff here. That's like the 101, right? But if your life gets dull, the relations game is going to get dull. You know, it's not, you know, you can be sterile, okay? You might even be able to be fit, okay? But if your life is not more than that, you know, if you're not contributing to society, it's not gonna be good. It's just not. Speaking from experience here, and from what I see, the more you do for society, the better your relations game is going to be. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. There's more there. And there are many things to consider when approaching life, to digress back to what I was saying, that are similar in many aspects to the relations game, right? So if you're, I mean, first of all, someone's got to start. Someone's got to be white. Someone's got to be black. That sort of whoever puts this whole thing into motion is going to be it usually. I mean, at least for, I mean, this is typically how it goes. You know, or I mean, for now, let's just say they're going to be in charge. Okay. Then we look at the other side of the board, okay? There, and let's start with, I mean, if you're experienced in the relations game, you're gonna know what I'm talking about. You're gonna know how these similarities relate to the relations game. How the characteristics of life relate to the relations game. There are many themes, okay? Some more broad and older than others, and some that have just been have just happened or have just been accomplished, right? You have to be able to know how to respond to those with grace, right? With tact, in an intelligent way, to set your community, yourself up for a brighter, more favorable future, right? So there's the action and there's reaction. Starting to sound like, who's that, Einstein? No big deal. I'm just kidding. So everyone's got this unique style, of which the basics are the same. And like I said, it is a game. Entrance into a match, let's say, is part of your style. When to not engage in a match, okay, is your style. How you live life is definitely, they sort of follow suit with each other. If you're, and this goes back to the wants and the necessities. It's not good to lead your life with the relations game, but there are times when the relations game is a necessity. So that's why, if you don't know what I'm talking about reproduction. I guess maybe not in the future, but I don't think the relations game is going anywhere. So, I don't know. I guess that's a little bit of targeted advertising, but also prediction. Yeah, but if I haven't made myself abundantly clear already, there are massive benefits to the relations game, okay? And opinions about that, I believe, are not grounds to start physical conflict. There's another saying here that is coming to mind that I think will be a good segue. Whatever happens, I think the saying goes, whatever happens on earth will echo in eternity. But let's cut out that for earth or on earth part. You might as well assume that whatever you do echoes for eternity, even after you die. People are probably gonna get nasty in the afterlife if they can, right? And we don't know what's gonna happen in the afterlife. So it's a good idea, choose your response to anything thoughtfully, and the saying goes, there's an eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind. But if the worst you do is an eye for an eye, that seems pretty good. That seems pretty fair, People are gonna look at the lack of eyes and say, I kind of like my eyes. I kind of want those. I don't think I want to put out anyone's eye. I think I'm just gonna not put anyone's eye out and keep both my eyes. I like that. Hopefully, you can't change it, obviously, if it happens to you. I know. I've never heard anyone talk about this. Like, I was like this. This is so funny. I used to say the rosary all the time. Like, multiple times a day. Multiple rosaries a day. And I got this at the Pride Festival, and I was just like, like out of habit doing this, like some sort of like gay monk. Oh man. Oh, too much, man, too much. No, but seriously, people fall in love. Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter who they are. Boy, we're just all over the hot topics in this class. I don't know. Let's stay on the hot topics. Why don't we? Let's stay on the hot topics. Here's one that I want to talk about. Let's talk about the age of consent. This one, I think is important. Very relevant. Because I've had experience with, I don't contact underage people for relations game activities, okay? At least not knowingly. There was one time when this girl lied. I didn't do anything, but I'll admit it, I was younger. I was, I think, 20. She told me she was 18, but she was 16. And we went on a date, and nothing happened. But then I did some more digging after, and I found out she was 16. Craziness. But let's sympathize a little bit. Life's hard. These kids want guidance, which I'm not going to give it to them. I'm telling you right now, if you're a kid watching this, I'm not giving you relations game guidance, hands-on at least. I care I care about other stuff way more than that. Like way more. Like I don't care that you're suffering. Figure it out, okay? Because that's not the only time it's happened. 2 other times that something like that's happened. One was, I mean, they were both vague, but the other one wasn't so vague. Yeah. So, am I saying get rid of the age of consent? No, not saying that. Not saying that at all. Have I talked about this here before? I'm not sure. But, hearing about, what I want is for people to respect the law. I want people to respect the law. And when there are these little things that are stepped on, it sort of degrades the overall respect for the law. let's talk about sports for a little bit. There are rules in sports that get broken all the time. All the time. But in the broad scheme of things, the referees, the spectators, the players, they don't care. Why don't they care? Because well, that's just kind of how sports work. Like they want to be able to enforce the rules if they get broken blatantly. Let's, I guess, go into specifics here. Soccer. You can't shove someone off the ball. But you'll see as the professionals play, they're kind of, their hands are on each other, and it's not just a, you know, and it's not light. It's still, you know, that's just how sports go. In football, holding, you know, it's no secret that people will try and skirt around the rules in order to win. So, but rules, okay, in sports are always evolving. You know, VAR, you know, which is like video reviews, you know, they'll change you know, rules to make this sport more interesting, and they'll clarify rules. That's another thing. Is sometimes a situation will happen in a sport that there is no rule, you know, but it's sometimes not, you know, sometimes I gotta think of an example. So, pitcher switch pitcher switch hitter. They keep, one wants to, you know, I forget exactly. I think I forget exactly. I think, you know, left-handed pitchers like to pitch to right-handed batters, and left-handed pitchers like to pitch to right-handed batters, and right-handed pitchers like to pitch to left-handed batters. Right-handed batters like to bat off of right-handed pitchers, and left-handed pitchers like to pitch off of left-handed pitchers. So batter, goes to the batter's box. Say right-handed. I forget how it was. I forget who it was too. When it was. But this is how it was. And the pitcher lines up left-handed. Well, the batter then goes to the left side. Then the pitcher goes to the right side. So they're, eventually they figured it out. But say if one team was losing and so that was rare. So that it's rare that there's a switch pitcher, rare that there's a switch batter. So the rule wasn't clarified. But it needed to be clarified. Now, that's not a way to win, but there are circumstances. I guess you could draw a game out forever and count that as a win because you didn't lose. But eventually they clarified it. Or maybe it was clarified. It just wasn't. It was a weird situation, but I'll have to think on that, and I'll think of another one. Maybe even today, but yeah, and that's the reason why people are forgiven, because all these little rule breaks are if you can't just if you punish every single one, the legal system would probably be overloaded, and many people think it is already overloaded, and that's why weed was legalized. I'm not a gosh, I don't even know I don't even know the rules on the verbiage here. But and again, I am definitely not gonna be crossing any. I've crossed lines before, okay, and little stuff, I'll probably cross. Strike me dead. I might go a little over the speed limit, stuff like that. That is a non-negotiable, okay? So let that be clear. That's a non-negotiable. Doesn't matter doesn't matter if I'm out the country or anything. I am an American, okay? Just to clarify, I don't even want to be presented with that. So this goes for both sides of the political atmosphere regarding introducing sexual themes, sexual education specifics, and basics earlier versus later. whoever wields this, represents this, is going to have more power inherently. It's just the way it goes. It's just the way it goes. I only have so much power, and I've stated my stances before. But if trans people get a hold of this, which I'm not going to stop them from getting a hold of this, because the themes and the lessons that this brings is more important than anything, I think. Then they're probably going to have more leverage of thinning the line of what was before regarding gender, stuff like that. Now, me personally, okay, I can only see what I can see, There are times where I feel feminine, want to act feminine. It's in my best interest to act feminine, or not masculine, like you tone it back. You tone it back, a little bit. You don't want to always, you can go life through like that. I found that paying close attention to your tone, right? Being able to let things, that's not really feminine, but yeah. So drawing from feminine themes, I guess you could say. Trusting that sort of side of the relations game, for me personally, beneficial. Now, to assume that there's something inside of me that is different than what I am physically, gender-wise, is a bit of it's a stretch, because to me, if I can't see it, then how do I know? How do I say that is this when I don't even know? I might see a woman or someone who's feminine and think and want to embody that fully, but that does not mean that I can, you just, I just to the best of my ability. If people, there are serious medical complications that come with taking this too far, because the medical world is a very serious world. If you have an anatomy, but you don't feel comfortable using the serious medical terms that describe your anatomy, it's really taking time from the medical world that could be used for other people. You see, as much as I want people to be happy regarding this, I don't think it's as thought through as people make it out to be. Sometimes, case by case basis. Again, local laws are in power here. And I don't know. I'm not a parent. And I wanna love and guide and be a role model for any trans kid out there, even though I'm not trans. So I'm not, it's not like it's not like execute all the trans people, like what? No. Plus, I like some trans people. They're great people, There are great trans people. There's no doubt about it. So it's really foreign to me. But it definitely is worrisome from my perspective because of the medical, because of the medical complications, and it's permanent. It's permanent, but if you push, oh, you're feeling feminine, let's change you to a girl on a child early, then they see the the pitfalls. If they are not fully educated, that's a key theme here. You have to be fully educated on every pitfall that comes with hormones to sex change operation. If there has to be some sort of cognitive test here, I think. Prove that this child knows every single pitfall. And it, there's got to be, relating to basic things. So sports, big part of society. I think having, having a formal education on things like that is important. There should be no shame around rule, the little stuff, there should be laws, right? There should be a formal education on the minor stuff. Medicine, that's a big one. Then, how that's gonna affect the politics um, long term, your personal politics, your personal reputation, how it's going to affect it long term. And a good padding, not biased in any way. This is what happens. These are all the things that you face. And not to, it would be, I think it's, allow it, I guess, maybe or maybe not. But regardless, there's got to be, this is the exact emotions that are going to be brought out from, medicine, people from a sexual standpoint, or from a relations game standpoint, people might see it as being a tainting of that because they're not relying on natural, they're relying on a substance to acquire the characteristics of someone who's I don't know how to get into this. Fertile? Is that right? Whenever you get into the let's dial this back to wants and needs. The more you spend on your needs and other people's needs too counts. The better time you're gonna have pursuing and enjoying your wants, right? And sometimes, wants are classified as a need because coming out of a vacation or a good relations game match or a nice cocktail or could be anything, that is that the main purpose of it is to relieve stress from yourself. Those can be classified as a necessity because the sort of ebb and flow I'm sort of I think I've made my point clear. This is all basic stuff. Again, it's a style thing. It's a style thing because Some people are very straight edge, who don't take a lot to enjoy, you know, so some people basically, I'm still figuring it out myself, to be honest. I feel all right now. Yeah, it's something you got to figure out. And to digress back to what I was saying, some people might see those output enhancing, input enhancing drugs as a sort of tainting of that relations game pool. But other people don't care. And sometimes you like the people who do that, and sometimes other people who don't do that are more attractive. And so that's another thing, that's a thing that is crucial, I think, to any sort of education around. I am definitely for an education that, I don't think, I mean how long it is, how in depth you go, that's all gonna be factors of legislation. It's not up to me. It's not up to me. It's up to communities that are in place. Same goes with reproductive rights. I'm not here to influence everyone in one way, because, like I said in a different one, it's good to have a diversified world, because we can see how each decision and its consequences make on a small, or play out on a small scale, instead of turning all of them one way and seeing all the similar consequences. So the themes with a diversified world of law, things can migrate and grow across communities, across counties, cities, states, countries, and maybe the world, like this definitely should. So it's not up to me. But that's definitely a hot topic. And again, this is a sign of morality. The harshest, most realistic sign of morality. And whoever wields it will have more power, mark my words. So when it comes to this, to the wars going on in Russia, I get it. I mean, it's a tough thing to not have a serious it seems like it's been pretty serious. I thought it was, Ukraine was a developed country, and now there's ruins in it. You know, I don't know why they were looked down upon so furiously by the Russian state, but I don't know. I think it's terrible. And for the war in Palestine, in Israel, it's a shame that they have such a small, that the Palestinians have such a small area. However, it's not just about resources. It's not just about physical resources. What are they? And this is a beautiful. Like I said, it's a beautiful thing. Being able to tend to people's wants, right? Because if you have just the basics, you can still tend to people's wants. Here's the thing. It's a deeply Muslim country. It's a very conservative, you know, place, right? So there. I mean, this is just from an outside perspective. They're blocking expression in a relations game way, and they're keeping themselves from growing, they're keeping their finances, a lot of stuff from growing, because they are burdening themselves with strict old practices of morality. And that's why this is so good. If you really want the religious wars to end, this is the way to go right here. This is the way to go. Because here's the thing. It doesn't matter how rich you are. If you are being too conservative with your money, it's not a good look. It's not a good look. Doesn't matter how fit you are. Doesn't matter how many resources you have. Doesn't matter, your assets. If you're sort of running up the score, and you're not humbling yourself to the reality that if you're not contributing to society, no matter how rich you are, as much as everyone else, then your reputation, your image, will not be. It's dirty. I mean, passing up on. You have to take risks. Of course, you can always keep. Well, why do I care about everyone else? I have my family to worry about. And you should care about your family. You should care a lot about your family. You can even say you should care about your family first, but not contributing to society can bring. Now, I'm not saying it should bring ill will, but it's just something that happens. People don't respect the fact that you're not contributing, no matter. No matter how much stuff you have, it just does not. It does not. It does not translate to a favorable reputation. So that would be my suggestion. Majorem paradigm. You can still study Islam and practice Islam, but maybe consider changing, this how you spin the teachings a little bit to avoid, physical conflict, like what's going on. And I have to give criticism to both sides here, because I do think physical retaliation from Israel, I think, is warranted. It was warranted considering the circumstances, but regardless of what the circumstances were, this should be the main compass for people. Down to every little. Things change for reasons, like I said. If you're contributing to this, your reputation will be better, and you'll gain more support. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. I don't think I have to elaborate on that further. All right, that's gonna end it for this one. Thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, notification bell. Because I don't advertise everyone. Some of them I get pretty fired up, and I'm a little bit, I don't know if I want to put this out right away. But if you want to be real intimate with what's going on, notification bell. Click the notification bell, and you'll get, or maybe you don't know, you'll get a notification whenever I upload, which isn't that often. I'm not straight up pestering people with, crazy uploads. A couple times a week. Helps me out, and it helps other people out. Even if you're just watching it, it looks good to see a bunch of views, and that helps the the algorithm of the internet to put it in front of more people, because it's saying, hey, they're watching this. Maybe other people will want to watch it. There's not a person behind there saying, oh, I want this to be popular or not popular. Or maybe there is. I don't know. Who knows? But it's a good gesture. That's all I got. Have a good one. Peace.